In the last part of the tutorial, we left off where we checked if a name was posted. So we'll continue on from there. We'll first need to protect it, as we did with the shout. So name equals protect post name. Now we obviously don't want users to be using names that the registered users are already using. So we perform a simple check for that. One that you have probably used before already when creating something like a registration system. So MySQL query select username from users where username equals name. Then we check if the amount of rows that have been selected is greater than 0, then that username is already in use. Oops. There we go. Not too difficult. Now, once again, we'll need to check if the user actually inputted a name and not just a blank box or a whole bunch of spaces or whatever. So, we do this the same way we did before, here with, whoops, let's get that out of the way, here with the shout doesn't equal nothing. So we're going to do the same thing here for the name. Else if name doesn't equal nothing, then we need to check is the name actually more than 32 characters, because as we specify here, it can only be 32 characters at most. So we use the string length function again. If string length of name is greater than 32, your name cannot be more than 32 characters. It's as simple as that. And then, of course, we'll need to insert the shout into the database. So I will use a syntax that's similar to the update syntax, but it's perfect for making this query very clear to you so that you can grab it easier. You can use whatever insert syntax you want, but I prefer this one, at least right now. So MySQL query insert into shouts, and this is what I meant with the update syntax, set user ID equal to 0, and we do this to specify that it's a guest shout. Date posted equals now. Now is a MySQL function that inserts the current date and time. Message is equal to shout, and we will set the name equal to name. And there we go. But of course, what if it's a member who posted? In that case, we won't insert anything. So we also need to perform this query in case the user was actually already logged in. In that case, of course, we won't need to insert something into the name field, since we'll retrieve that username later using a very useful technique using that user ID. Also, this is why I told you to make this name field be able to be null. Okay, so in this else statement here, for the check if the name was set, we will perform this same query more or less. We'll just get rid of a few things, namely this name here, and we'll space this out a bit better. And we'll change this user ID to session UID, which stands for session user ID. And I've set it here for the sake of demonstration, and it's pretty much equal to the ID of the user in here. So in this case it will be a user. So let's take a look at how this will work. So right now I'm user number 2, so I'm now a user. So when I'm going to insert something here, like this is a cool shout, we inserted an undefined variable shout on line 10. So what did I do wrong here? Alright, this should obviously be post shout. Silly me. So, it's a good thing I showed you that. It's useful to see this because it teaches you how to debug a bit as well. So when we try it again now, let's just refresh it. Let's see if it didn't insert. I'm not sure. No, it didn't. That's good. So we do it again. This is a cool shout. We'll try it again. And now, when we go browse, it's still not there. That's weird. So let's see why it didn't do that. If a set post name, which we didn't, insert into shouts, it's called shouts, sets, I have no idea. Oh wait, now I see, I have this comma here, and this is again good debugging practice. This comma causes a syntax error, which you will see if we do this, or die MySQL error. You will see that I have a syntax error there. So here at line 4, near, well, the end. So if we remove this comma here, we have a proper valid query and it will work. Let's get rid of that parenthesis. Now let's try one more time. This is a cool shout, and now we will see that it has indeed inserted it. For some reason though it did it here, probably because it's still a null name here. So let's move on. This is all fun and stuff, but we don't actually display all these shouts. So we're going to create a new file, and we'll name it shouts.php, and in it we're going to of course include connect.php, and then we're going to do something that you probably have not seen before. It's called an inner join. I'll type it out first, and then I'll explain what it means exactly. So Q for query equals MySQL query select, oh, that's not supposed to happen, select users dot username shouts dot user ID shouts dot message and shouts dot name, and we're going to select that from the users table, and here it goes, inner join shouts on users dot ID is equal to shouts dot user ID ordered by shouts dot ID descending limit 20. And there it is. Okay, so we're using something called an inner join here. We're selecting data from two different tables, namely the users table and the shouts table, where the ID field from the users table is related to the user ID field in the shouts table. Basically, we're merging these two fields together using this inner join syntax, so that we can also use the username that's associated to these values. So if a shout was posted with user ID 2, it would check for the user with an ID of 2 and grab its username, which in this case would be a user. And we'll then be able to use this. Otherwise we would have had to use two queries, and now we can do it with just one, so it will be much more efficient. I'm running out of time again, so we'll continue on this in the next part of the tutorial, where we will talk about displaying the retrieved data using an array and a for each loop. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time.